Welcome to our Alpha Stylo WebSession Fall 2022. I show you in the next 20 minutes interesting things from the Stylo world. We are still busy with the redesign of Stylo, and I have also one special new feature what you can find in the new version from Stylo, in the new version with the new interface, to be exact. We call this new feature aesthetic font size, and you have it as add property or as template property. I will show you how it works and what it means with an example. We see here the text January 4. Well, if I take this text, select this text and make now and change to a different font family, you see that this text looks bigger than the rest. That looks not so nice. An alternative is this view. Here we have also a different font family, also the Futura, and it's now a little bit clearer. How you can do that in Stylo? It's in the object properties of an ad or a template. We have it at the moment in the beta section of the object properties. You can make actives here with aesthetic font size, and you see all it's now a little bigger because we recalculate all. Then I change the font family, and now we have the change. We recalculate on basic of the X size of an character, not of the ascender. That's the reason why it looks now a little bit quieter and it's not bigger in the middle of this paragraph. New is also our new style catalog for paragraph formats. We have 3 changes, major changes here, and I show you what things are. So first we have a look in the older version of Stylo, and big problem was when you select and text and create a new paragraph, you were thinking, okay, it may be with the values from the current paragraph, but it wasn't. So he lost all values and works with standard values. In the new version it's better, so when you here create a new paragraph format for the catalog, so I will give a new name, and we have also a short log and the values from basic and from font. You see all values are correct, and when I assign this paragraph format, then it's also correct. The second change that we give you now the possibility to make duplicates from your paragraph formats like that, very fast way. So I will change here to green to see also different, and we see also the third change in the paragraph catalog. When I click on a paragraph, will happen nothing. You have to make a double click. The reason is when you click on a paragraph, you are able to change it, to remove it, or to duplicate the paragraph format in the catalog. Our layer dialog is now also a little bit clearer and easier to handle like before. And a short example here in this short video, I opened that with this icon, and you see it's not so many icons like before. I can click on the different objects and see the selection in my ad. Now I create a new layer and will move one object to this. That's like in the older version, but new it's you can make a double click and change the name of the layer very easily, and the same you can also do for objects, only a double click and return at the end. To change the color, you see this small color square, click on it, and with this option you can change the selection color for objects in this layer. In the last web session I showed you the new dialog to make borders and corners. Now we have finished this dialog and also are able to use the border catalog. We start with the last thing. When you want to change a border, you have to go in the special dialog, the corner and borders. For often used elements or borders is that a little bit complicated. Much easier is it to use the border gallery and the border pool, so that you can choose you wanted pool and then you select you wanted element from this catalog. You can also filter here, then select. That's much easier, like to make it every time new. Here we see now the work with decor elements for borders and corners. Here we have this arrow, and then we see this area in the dialog to change now the border. And now I will upload a new element. You can also use a gallery, that is the next step. So this hearts looks very nice with the preview, or I can remove, or I go to this section to use a decor pool like this one, and here I choose a different heart, and that looks nice, so I will apply that. The logic of the gradients is like in the versions what we have now, the current versions. Here you need first an entry and the gradient catalog, and then you can choose this entry for your object in the ad. I have a small example how it could work. In this older ad, the gradients was created with pictures. You see that here because the quality of the images, the gradient images, was very poor, so the resolution is too low. A good reason to change it now. So I made the right alignment with my floating toolbox, and then we change the color to a gradient with a new tab. So a little bit resizing, and now I bring it back because I want to select the poor picture in the background, so I can remove that. We see that the gradient is not the same like in the old variant, so I have to change that. I can do that in the view section from the toolbar, and you have here the gradient catalog, so I added it, and I will change further the angle so that we have the gradient from left to right. And the second thing what I want to change is that it's a little bit more gray. Okay, and now it looks more similar to the original like before. So now we have some copies of this element to use it for the second and the third title and this ad. The same procedure. We select both elements, and in the floating toolbox we make the right alignment, bring it back, select the picture, and then it's okay, and then we do the same for the third title. In Stylo we have an automatic picture or image workflow to convert RGB pictures, for example, to 4C or to black and white. You have also the option, also in the older version, to make an manual image release. But the dialog, it's not so clear and you cannot see the current status of the process. That is what we now change in the new interface, and you will see this of this simple and short example. The mask is set from me, and then I choose from the menu the image release. We see okay, that's the current status, and in this case it wasn't okay. That's the reason why we have here a red button, and you can see on this button also the error message, and this was the error message that the status could not be determined. Otherwise you will see a green point and all is okay. When a user feels lost, a quick and short help can help. That's why we now have tooltips and extended tooltips in Stylo. You first see a very brief help, but there is a progress bar indicated that there is more information with a little patience. We have this tooltips for all icons in the toolbar and also for the floating toolboxes. Here we see with a lot of information about this function to the alignment. We have completely redesigned the context menu. The most important functions are now always to the top, followed by temporarily important functions, and then formatting functions before the template creator function are listed at the end. So we have here a good sample for the add. See, effects are not so important for the common users. Here is the context menu for text, symbols and glyphs, very important. Not so important, text flow properties and text flow restrictions. And a last sample here for text frame properties, the properties on top, then corners and borders, and at the end of the list we find separate, link, effects, and something like that. That was the Stylo WebSession. I hope it was informative and helpful. All the best for you and stay healthy. Bye bye.